Oh, that was pretty quick.
Hey, mate, it worked.
I can't hear you. I'm going to have to turn the sound up. Hang on a second. There we go. And I'm wearing this, so, you know.
Famous hat, mate. It kicked off the first one we did of these, the live. I think you're wearing that at the same time.
Yeah, it was probably, well, it's because it was like a year ago and it was freezing cold.
Yeah. It's a bit cold here tonight, but nothing like what you guys are going through, so, yeah.
You got the heater on in there?
No, I don't need it. I got my hoodie on though, so, but
yeah, there you go.
No heater.
Well, I'm wearing merch, but it's all on my back, so you can't see it.
This is what I've been wearing this all day, so this is normal stuff. Man, I just had the craziest thing happen. My best mate from Canberra just turned up at the shop.
Yeah, I was like, because I was sitting on here and I'm like, oh, you want to get on about 7, and it's 7:30, and I was like, I was pushing. I ate dinner in 3 minutes. I was like, I had one of those little TV dinners. I was like, bang, bang, bang. And I'm like, cool, I'll get out there. And then I set up and, yeah, you're going quiet. I was like, oh, I'll leave him. I know he wants to get on here.
Yeah. No, I was sitting here and I was like doing invoicing and going through all the paperwork. And then I get a notification and it's a message on Messenger and it's my roller door of the workshop. And I'm like, no way. I looked at the camera. It's my best mate from Canberra sitting out the front and honking the horn.
There you go.
He's too cold in Canberra. He said he's come up for the weekend.
Yeah, right. So, what are you doing now? Is he there? Him
and his daughter, they've got they're going back to the motel. He's been up since like midnight, so he's going to go back, get some sleep. Drove all day, and they're going to go have dinner. They're going to have a sleep. We're going to catch up tomorrow and see what we can get up to see what we can get up on the weekend.
Yeah, sweet. No, it was I was just.
You'll have to bear with me. I'm going to be coughing and stuff through, so I'm still not feeling too good. So, yeah.
Yeah, I nearly sacked you today. I was thinking if he's too sick, I'll sack you and I'll fucking get mechanic tack on or something and see what he wants to do.
You need the backup. My
camera looks really blurry. I don't know what it is.
Yours does?
Oh, no, it seems all right now. I'm just trying different lights and different things, trying to...
I got my Halo again tonight. See, look, Halo. See, perfect.
Oh, he's such an angel.
Yeah. Yeah, the horns.
Yeah, it's funny. Last week you had some donut sauce on you. There was no Halo.
Yeah, so I know. It's all down here. A little bit of donut juice over. So yeah.
Donkey was saying he'd had a group of 4 Chinooks flying in formation over Sydney since yesterday. Yeah, loud as 2 engines are louder than one, I guess. Mm-hmm. Man, they used to wake. Well, I'd sleep on the army base and stuff, and they'd wake you up. It'd be 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're doing touch training. The Chinook would come down, guys would come out on ropes, and they'd hit the deck, get out, jump back in, and then take off again. And there would be 6 helicopters in a row, and they'd just be coming and touch sparking the whole, for 6 hours, trying to get the best time, trying to beat each other, whatever they were doing. It was loud, I can tell you that much.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Experiences you've had? You've had some experiences, brother?
Yeah, I was talking to my psychologist this week and just talking about all these different things. And she's like, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 36. She's like, you've done more in 36 years than, generations of people in my family.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't say no to a good opportunity. So.
It's all about how you approach life. You sit back and you go, I'll get to that later. You get to your old age, you sit in your chair and you're still waiting. So you got to get it. You might, you break bones, you tear some skin off, you get scars, but you get some good stories out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, later never comes. So.
Nah, exactly right.
Oh, Al's back. Al's back from last week. Yeah, do I look 36, mate? Probably not right now. Bloody hell, he says. 1989, bro. That's when I was born.
Bloody spring chicken. Look at me. I was been 77, mate. 1977. I'm ancient compared to you guys.
That's why you got to hate Zed, because you don't feel like it's that old of a car.
No, that's it. You'd be like, what, VN Commodore or something like that?
Yeah, well, I love VNs. I was out last Saturday at a mate's house, and I haven't drunk in 6 months because I stopped drinking.
Yep. Like me, I did the same thing about a year ago or longer now, and
yeah,
not because I just stopped. I'm like, I'm just not going to drink anymore. And if one of my mates showed up and they want to have a beer, I'd probably have a beer with them, no problems at all. But I don't miss not drinking all the time. I just don't. Yeah.
I feel a lot better that I've stopped. I used to be really heavy, like really heavy.
Yep.
It was just at a mate's baby shower, and then another mate he invited everyone over to his big barbecue, and sort of no one rocked up. And then he called me and said, "Hey, look, no one's coming here. I've bought $100 worth of all this stuff, and no one's here." And I thought, well, I've already had 2 drinks. I'll go over there and just have a bit of a naughty day, once every 6 months or so.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, I used to drink real heavy. I remember my 30th birthday, I was drinking a 10-pack of JD. I woke up about 8 o'clock, straight into this JD 10-pack. By 12 o'clock, they were gone. And then people coming over and giving me bottles. And my cousin brought a bottle of tequila. And there was me and her and 2 of my other cousins and my sister. We shot for shot of the bottle, like as soon as it came out, until it was gone. And then I drank a whole bottle of JD until about 10 o'clock at night, and then until 3 in the morning I was just walking around for a bottle of Bundy, just swigging it, and I got halfway through that, and I was all right. I could wake up next morning and I was all right.
I used to do the same. Well, we'd get on the piss almost every night of the week, and when me and my brother, we sort of lived in the same house and that together, and we'd go out, Friday night, Saturday night, and then Sunday I'd drag everyone out of bed at like 6:30, 7 in the morning. We'd go to the beach. Let's go. Grab the Jezsquared, keep drinking at the beach all day, If you want to party, get up. We're going to work the next day,
Yeah.
Do something with us. But I never missed a day's work because I was crook. I never did all that. You just get in and get it done. So,
what's fun? Because I got to this baby shower, and then I had 2 rums and a brandy. And I love drinking brandy because it's always the dusty bottle on the top shelf. And they're like, oh, we only ever serve brandy to 80-year-old men, but here I am. Like it anyway.
It's perfect for me then.
And then
I got a brandy story for you too. It's a good one.
I love brandy. And then I went to my mate's house, and I just bought one of those 4-pack of what are they called? G-Up. They're that Troy Candies alcohol.
Yeah.
So I give that a go. Supporting local Aussies, why not? Small business. So, yeah, I had 4 of them, and then we drank half a bottle of Jameson, and I got home somehow.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about, I don't even remember how I got home. Anyway, doesn't matter. But, yeah, I hadn't eaten all day, so I was hammered.
Bloody hell, yeah.
But I woke up on Sunday, and I went and spent like 6 hours on my bus, and I was fine. I come home, and Jasmine's still sick, the poor bitch. So.
Oh, dude, I had a big one for my mate Aaron, who was here last Friday with me, helped me out. I went to his Bucks night, and I smashed myself absolutely insane. Drank like all day. Played golf, and we went out and kept on pissing up, and I was just ordering shots for everybody, and just every time someone turned around, I had a shot in my hand or a drink in my hand, and. Yeah. When I got home, I got out of my mate's car. He dropped me off, and I was staggering towards the gate. And I went, I don't think this is going to end well for me. And I couldn't get to the front door, and then I sort of got to the front door and sat down. I went, nah, I can't do this. I just raced out the front, power spewed over the fence, and ended up passing out the kids' trampoline. And I heard for about 3 days after that. I'm like, I'm too old for this shit. I can't do this anymore.
Honestly, I don't know someone that doesn't have a good, proper piss-up story, or 10.
Oh yeah, hell yeah!
You can sit down and talk about
it. I first met my missus, and we started going out, and I was drinking all the time and partying heaps, and I was waiting for her at a mate's party, and I was there with a friend and his missus, and I was blind, and when my missus turned up, I kept on drinking, and then someone offered me a shot, but it wasn't in a shot glass; it was like a full-on whiskey glass full of brandy, and I'm like, I'll drink it. I sculled that down. I'm like, nah, this is not good. And I was out house spewing over his fence, and then they took me home, and I got a feed on the way home. The next morning, I was the first one out of bed. I was dragging them out of bed. Come on, let's go. I want to do something. I'm all pumped up. I'm excited. Let's get up. And they couldn't believe it. They thought, you should be dead. And they said, last night we thought you were going to die. We're going to take you to the hospital. That's how bad you were. And you woke up like nothing happened this morning. I went, yeah. But nowadays, I can't do it nowadays. So I've realised how old age has caught up with me, and I can't drink like I used to.
Yeah, I'm a bit the same. I had it on iron stomach. I'm still pretty good. Like I can eat anything from anywhere and I don't get sick. But when I went to Thailand, this would be a good 10 years ago or more now. Well, that's been more than that. Time flies, bro.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
definitely.
We all went out and were eating pizzas and all this stuff all night and whatever in Thailand and in Phuket, and all the boys got sick. Like, we all ate the same food, and they were all, the next morning, they were stuffed. And so I'm down in this pool by myself, and I'd bought a bottle through the duty free when I come in, and it was a 1.125 bottle of Kraken rum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, let's go, boys, let's do something. Let's go ride elephants, whatever we're going to do. And they just bummed out. They were stuffed. They were all vomiting. So I was like, I'm going to go down and take this massive bottle of rum with me, go down and sit in the pool, and I'm in this pool floating around just sculling this straight bottle of rum. And it got to about 6 o'clock at night, and it was empty. And I was like, what am I going to do now? And I met this little South African chick, and we were just talking about culture and talking about, because I have friends from Africa too, and I ended up going out with her. The first,
was it her or was it him?
No, it's a South African chick. She's cool. I think she was on my Facebook. I don't know if she's on there anymore. But yeah, we went out. So I just drunk a 1.125 bottle of straight rum over, 10 hours. And I got up and we went to the first bar, and I lined up 21 Jaeger bomb shots.
Ooh.
Shot at every single one of them, and then went out with a big cigar and just walked around like a dickhead. And I was fine, man. Like, I don't know where she went. I lost her after about 20 minutes. Ran into people from like local people and people that I knew, which is funny when you go overseas. You run into people that you know. And had this massive night, and come back and they were all still vomiting.
Oh man, yeah, I used to love it. I'd go and party all night, me and my brother and mates, and then I'd be the first one up in the morning. Come on, get up. We're all getting up. We've got to do something for the day. I can't drink all night and then waste it all day because I'm sick. You know, you just get up and power through. But yeah, I tell you what, nowadays I get up the next morning. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. So.
No, I'm happy not to drink, but
but I don't miss it. You know, like the amount of money that I think back. And I was single back then, or I, didn't have kids and didn't have any much responsibility. So I'm like, you go and waste $1,000 on the weekend on piss. You didn't think much of it. Now I'm like, oh man, the amount of stuff I could do with that nowadays. I can't throw that much money away anymore.
Look, I don't actually even enjoy it anymore, but yeah. Anyway. How was your week? How's your work week been?
Oh, man, I was sitting in the comments listening to your work week. Like, mine's probably a little bit better than yours, but I did a couple of late nights here again. I didn't want to, but I ended up doing a couple of late nights. But I got that EH fixed last night. I stayed back. I actually got it up and running, the one with the shifter issues.
Yeah, so what happened with that?
So combination of things. So it's got some wiring in it that's a bit hair going, and I spoke to the guy today. He's going to come back and we're going to rewire a heap of gear. But when they'd pulled the wiring for the shifter over the top of the column, it had pulled down on the column on those ones. You've got your key barrel and then a rod runs all the way down to where the ignition switch is down the bottom. Mm-hmm. When they pulled the wiring through, it was so loose that it pulled 2 pins out of that. And they were still connected, but they were arcing out. And, so that had caused it. And the main power was hooked into the indicator wiring. So
was it a hazard switch or indicators?
It was the power. It didn't have hazards. It must have been the indicator wire, but it was the power to the flasher can.
Yeah.
So you'd put the indicator on and it'd backfeed earth through the circuit, and that's what was causing everything to go haywire with it. It was crazy. Mm. So I got it to a point today where you virtually jump in the car, put it in, hit the key, she fires instantly, and, go through the gears. Awesome. Old mate picked up the Savo. I said, look, take it for a drive, man. Please drive it for a couple of hours, stop, put fuel in it, pull over, get a feed, start it and stop it as many times as you can. Make sure it's all good. He rang me just before, and he's like, mate, he goes, best the car's ever run. I'm stoked with it, so happy with it. And he gets to go to the car show that they're all heading to this weekend, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, sick. Well, I mean, I just got the Raider going again. Yeah. So I sort of just threw some messages out to a few mates saying, let's go out on Saturday. and my wife's little cousin, she was meant to come out because she sends me a message every second day want me to go and have a look at an 80 series for her. And I said, well, have you ever driven one? She's like, oh, no, I think they're a cool looking truck. And I said, well, I know people with like 10 different 80s, so I invited them all out, and then she's decided she's not coming. But that's all right, because we're going to go and have a good day.
Yeah, well, that's it. You go and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I pulled the engine apart. I had a fuel leak. So it comes from the tank, it goes up through the filter. It must be like the pump comes up, it goes through the filter, and then it goes into a pulse regulator, and then it goes into the fuel rail, and then it's got a actual fuel regulator at the end, and then back to the tank. Well, you got to pull the intake and stuff off to get to that hose, and the hose was split. I changed it, and then I ran it yesterday, and it's pumping fuel out, like hemorrhaging fuel out like you'd cut an artery. And I was trying to find it today, and I had a guy from the shop next door. I said, hit the key, and I'll just get a torch now. So we got one shot at this to see where it's coming out of, because once it starts spraying, it just turns into a fog, which is something I want to talk about later too. Yep. But yeah, I ended up just going, I got in and I took a photo of this pulse regulator, and I read the number out, and I put it into my AI thing, and I said, what is this part? And it just told me, pulse regulator, will stop the even flow to injectors, blah, blah. And I'm like, so I don't really need it. And it's like, oh, the vehicle will run without it. I'm like, oh, that'll do. Cut, join them, hit it, no fuel leak. She's going tomorrow.
Got confirmation, vehicle run without it, left shoulder, she can go on.
So I ran it, and it revved up, and then I took it for a little lap around, and yeah, it definitely must, because when it was running before, it was pissing out fuel, but it was like idling all right. And now when it idles, it's like bang, 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 as it backfires as it's idling. So it must just be smashing fuel in, but I don't care. Like, it's just to go in the bush. Like, I'm going to see how high I can jump it tomorrow. I don't care. A backfire in the exhaust.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, that's the least you worry is doing that, man.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take the camera with me and actually go and make some videos tomorrow, and maybe expand the YouTube into doing some actual driving and stuff like that. I love time with you, of course, but
I want to
push it. I actually had some guys
apart though occasionally, so yeah.
What was that? Sorry.
We need our time apart as well, so
that's true. Things, so, yeah. Well, we don't talk all week, so
no. This is we Friday night thing, which is cool.
Yeah. So I had a guy message me through the week saying, when your YouTube takes off, I'm like a big part of the burnout scene, and I want to do an interview. And I was like, whoa, hold up, bro. I've only got like 50 subscribers on YouTube, man. I ain't shit. I'm not a pimple on anyone's butt at the moment. But yeah, that's funny as.
A few more things on there, and we'll see how she goes, man.
Why not?
Everyone started somewhere.
Well, that's it. Like I said, if we want to get out there and, get into this YouTube thing and start our own thing, we've got to start now for 12 months' time.
No, definitely.
Good evening.
What's up, Billy? Sorry,
did you?
Yeah, how's the Subaru going, Billy? Is it all sorted? We got a new stereo in there. It's all good. Yeah, he bought in his Subaru Outback for his work, and he had a weird head unit issue. So the head unit in there was going to what was it doing? You'd be driving
to the indicators again.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you'd be driving along, and it would be the reverse camera was on. And then you put it in reverse, and the reverse camera turned off. So it's like the reverse camera was wired backwards, but it wasn't. It was wired fine. There was something internally in that head unit that just shut itself.
So it wasn't like the wires on the switch?
No, it wasn't. It was so weird. And then I tried to, sometimes with Pioneers, they've got a little reset button. You hit the reset, and then it sorts everything out. But no, head unit was just cooked, man.
That's
HR. Oh, EH, yeah, EH. I got it all sorted. It was a combination of things. We were just talking about that before. The ignition switch wiring, when someone had pulled some wires through, it actually slightly pulled them out, and they were arcing out. But also the shifter, the power to the Lockyer shifter module, it had the power wire to that was from the flasher can. So every time you turn your indicators on, it was dropping in and out and backfeeding and causing dramas there. So we got that sorted as well, which was cool. So it starts and runs, and it's going beautiful now. But, oh, yeah, Billy saying it was a mess. I sent him a video last night at about 8 o'clock. I was sitting here, like, just took a video of under the dash. I'm like, this is scary.
Well, do you remember that high ace I did a TikTok on, like, 2 weeks ago? I rocked up, and there was no dash in it.
No dash in it, yep.
So the actual guy that runs that order, he's an electrician. One of his guys is right into the cars and has built a cool 180SX, actually. It's got a 4J... what's the motor in it? 1UZ. I don't know where I was going with it. It's got a 1UZ in a 180SX, and it hammers. But he got a quote for $4,000 to pull the heater core or coil or something out of the dash. And he thought, nah, one of the boys can do that. So they've pulled the dash out. And I was only there to service it. But they've put it all back together, and it doesn't start.
Oh.
So they actually got me in there, and the wiring harness had been run sort of back wherever it fit. I was finding little cuts in the harness, and it had been pulled tight in places. And half the ECU wasn't clipped in, so it wouldn't start. So I ended up plugging all the ECU in, tried to hit it, nothing. I plugged into the HDMI, not that. What am I? I'm so tired, bro. Yeah. OBD2, sorry. Damn. I'm going to have to edit that out. I plugged into the OBD2, and it came up with B2... Was it 2699? It just said immobilizer issue, and it had gearbox and engine immobilizer issue. I was doing all this research into what it would be, and it was saying communication between body control and ECU. So I've pulled all the dash back off, not the whole thing, but as much as I could. Replugged everything, changed earths, and then I got it basically to wiring it at the key transponder, and it was saying if you short stuff out or pull stuff, it can fuck the transponder. Yeah. And then they're saying if you unplug it, it should throw like key not recognized code or something like that. So I unplugged it, and the code didn't change. Plugged it back in. I'm clearing the code, trying to start it, and I was like, okay, well maybe it's this transponder thing's not working. You can't check it because there's something to do. You can't backfeed it because you can't earth anything out because it's too like it's not strong enough to take back feeds and stuff like that because it's just a little amplifier. So I thought, if I'm pulling it out and nothing's happening, I'm putting it in, nothing's happening, it could be this. But they were $400 to the customer, so I think it was $335 or something for me to buy. And I just said to him, I'm like, man, I'm pulling it apart, I'm putting it back together, I'm getting the same code whether I pull this apart or not. You'd think it'd be something else. There's 7 wires into it. I said, I don't. Like, it's sort of getting to the point where it's out of my knowledge base. I've been doing everything I can. I've done dead resets. I've done Toyota resets, done everything to get it to trick itself and nothing. And he goes, yep, throw a transponder in it, put it in, checked it all over, hooked it up, nothing. And I was like, bro, I don't know, man. I think it needs, like, I rung a key guy, and I explained it all to him, and he's like, you need an auto electrician, bro. Like, there's something in that harness, and you and me are not finding it.
So they might have just pinched a cable. Like when they bolted everything back in, they've got a wire behind it and pinched it.
Well, that's what I mean. Like I thought it would be something easy like that. I was hoping so, and it just was not happening. And I rung the customer, and I couldn't get a hold of him. And I actually went because I had to go past his house on the way out, and I went past his house, and I'm like, it's just one of those jobs where I'm like, I've spent 7 hours on this thing, pulled the dash in and out, gone right through it. I was looking up like different Toyota resets to the point where I had to go like Pakistani and then decipher what he was saying to try and work it out. I couldn't do it, and I just said, mate, I'm out of options. So
yeah. Now that's what people don't understand. Sometimes the diagnostics in them. I've turned cars away because it's the amount of time you're going to have to spend in tracing it. It's going to be completely out of the customer's budget, or they're going to not want to pay for it. So you could spend a week tracing a wire to find a broken wire, and then someone turn around and go, "Oh, it's one wire. Why does it cost me $5,000 to find it?" It's like, well, I spent a week on it.
And that's where I was like, well, I'm lucky that he's an electrician because he understands what wiring's like.
Yeah.
And he's scared of cars. So like he goes, I've got 3 different coloured wires, and then I've got things that just plug in and it works. And I said, this whole dash has been out and a whole harness, and then it's just been like, after 6 weeks, we don't know how it goes back together. I'll sort of clip it in, and it's not really anyone's fault. It's just one of those things. I commend them for having a go. But, I have got to it and thought, nah, this is one of those jobs like we were talking about last week where I don't warrant a half pulled apart job, and that was pulled apart, mate. That was to the firewall.
I saw the video you put up. I'm like, wow. And that's
if it wasn't a mate of mine, I would have said no.
Getting into someone else's problems. I do that when I do the video on the AH. I'm like, I did a TikTok on it. I'm like, hey guys, sometimes you take on a job and you take it on someone else's problems, but then you own that job. So it's you've done it. Okay, you're the last one that's worked on it. Now everything that happens from then on is your fault because you were the last one to get in there and play with everything. So I was lucky to do the.
I can see in the comments. Sorry, I can see in the comments everyone having just a nightmare with wiring. No one wants to talk about it.
Oh man!
Sorry, I cut you off. What were you saying?
Oh no, just saying you end up. I was lucky. Old mate with the EH, he was completely understanding. He was really cool about it. He was happy that I got it and got it sorted. There was no problems with it. He was really happy, and he's got the car back. It's running perfect. He was stoked with it. So
no, that's good.
Center console's a bird's nest. Yeah, that was we neatened the center console up in it as well, and I got up under the dash as good as I could get it, but it's going to need a lot of work. But the guy's aware of it. He knows what it is. He's happy it's going for now. When he gets some more money, he's come back and we'll do some more wiring and we'll get some more stuff sorted out in it.
Look, I like wiring because it's clean a lot of the time, but it takes it out of you. I think at the end of the day, if I've been doing physical, like put a diff in or put an engine in or something like that, I feel less fucked, for a better word, as if I've sat there and nutted out some wiring. The amount of brain power that it can burn you is crazy. You get home and you're like, I am actually rooted today, and I, wired up a trailer plug that wasn't working. It's just one of those things. So,
oh man, I was up under the dash of that thing there trying to put the ignition switch back in, and I had my arms twisted like a pretzel up on the dash, upside down trying to get it. And then my daughter rang up and she's had a bit of she had something happening at home and she was freaking out a bit, and so I just jumped in the car, raced straight home, and then I come back, laid up under the dash and just went click, and just went straight back together. So sometimes just to get my head out of it, and sometimes you got to walk away from them, otherwise you lose your shit.
No, Seamus, you're breaking up there, brother.
I don't
know. I don't know what those two words are.
Yeah, there seems to be some writing. I can't understand what it is.
Yeah, I think it's Scandinavian for run away and piss off.
Not in my.
I'll see myself out. Close the door behind you.
No, definitely, man. Yeah, Euro cars. Oh man, I don't do Euro stuff. I had a chick come in today with a Lexus and had an amplifier issue. And I sent her up the road to my mate up the road that does them day in, day out. I'm like, dude, head up and see these boys. I thought, no dramas. I'd rather send them on the way than get bitten in the ass myself.
Old mate has a Euro. Which old mate are we talking about? None of my mates have Euros, I can tell you. I don't befriend those people.
Euros are nice cars. They drive well. They go well. Things like that. As soon as you got to work on them, don't. Nah,
he's ripping into me because I've got a Skoda in the driveway.
Do you work on it?
No, I don't.
See? There you go. Yeah. Exactly right. Yeah.
Actually, I put headlight globes in it not even a year ago, and it's blown another one, and they were $300 each. And I'm just
HIDs for them.
No, I don't know what they are. They're some weird little thing. Look like I've got a computer and all this shit on them. You'll have to look it up. So it's a 2015 RS Octavia, and the headlight globes are $300 each. And they didn't even last a year. And I'm sitting there going, righto, so is it going to be a headlight issue or is it going to be... I don't even want to look into it. I'm probably going to dig through the paperwork and go back to wherever I bought it from. I wouldn't even remember. I'll be like, 12 months, mate, come on.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
That's crazy, so...
Has that got the alley bonnets on those, aluminium bonnets?
Probably, it is pretty light.
There's a shop I was working at a while ago, before I opened this business, they had a Skoda in, and funny workshop stories when things go wrong. So I'm having a really, really busy day, and one of the blokes went out and went to close the bonnet and thought it was on struts, but it wasn't. It had the bonnet prop on it, so he's grabbed the bonnet and pulled it down. He's bent the bonnet, bent the bonnet in half. He's like, oh, shit. Broke that one. So, yeah.
I've done that, actually, on a 318 BMW. I thought it had struts, and it had a little short rod, and we were trying to work it out because the bonnet goes the other way. Yeah, I'm trying to pull it down. I pulled the whole corner down, and I was like, "Fuck, bro!" But there was this guy had like 5 of them, and it was just one of his race cars. He didn't care, but I was like, I care.
Yeah, freaked out a bit. Yeah. Renault Megane. You know the best thing about a Renault Megane? That yellow colour that came out was awesome. That's what I painted my Harley last time.
That is a sick colour, actually.
It was cool, man. It was awesome.
I'd probably put like a really light pearl green through it as well, just to bang it.
Yeah. It was really weird because in some videos we took it looked bright orange, in some it looked like gold, some was yellow. It did have a green tinge to it in some other photos and videos we took. It was a mad colour, eh? It was so cool.
It is a sick colour. Yeah, I did like that colour, actually. I can remember them now with their weird triangle ass tail lights.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the Harley story. That's another story as well.
Truck's going to keep on building, I think. Catch you later.
No worries, man. You take it easy, brother.
Well, to remember, these are going to be out on YouTube as well. So if you can't stay in and you have to go do stuff, and there's guys that are driving trucks that hit me up that they miss the lives and stuff, I will be putting it out on YouTube. Probably not tomorrow now because I'm driving all day. But they do go out, so I might make a TikTok on how to get onto that. I'm not really good at that stuff, but yeah, this is going to be out there, so you can watch it later if you want, man. It's good. Sometimes I watch it because then I get to see how much of a dickhead I am and how to improve things for the next week.
I do the same. I'm like, oh, God, what did I say that for? Or, oh, can't believe that sounds like me.
Yeah, right, Seamus. Cool, he's got an early start to try and get that Euro running so he can get out.
Be able to 4 in the morning, try and get it running. They should run really well in the cold, those Euros, aren't they, from bloody Scandinavia where it's like minus 400 all the time?
Yeah, it doesn't mean that they're any good. It drives in the cold.
They got to go. Do they have good heaters in them, though?
Yeah, look, Jasmine's is pretty good. It's pretty quick. It happens pretty quick.
Yeah.
No,
Farm Truck, always welcome, man. You can come to the shop anytime. I've actually had a couple of people drop in the shop in the last few weeks. It's been great. People swinging the shop. Hey, mate, I follow you on TikTok and just want to come in the shop. Like, come on down, check it out. Come in and check
that's
it out.
awesome. I love it.
Man. No, it's great. I like it. Like, come and check the shop out. It's not much, but always welcome.
Yeah, they get to see what what's past the walls of the camera on
exactly
your
right.
phone.
Yeah, that's it.
Actually, speaking of cold weather and how shit it's been lately, I've had this discussion. I've always had it with people talking about LED and halogen lights and the difference between them. And like halogen's gone sort of away from the market a lot. A lot of it is LED stuff now.
Yeah.
But I don't think that LED is the be all or end all. I think it really has its downfalls as well.
It does.
And it depends on where you are driving. Because and another thing that I don't understand is why would you have LED fog lights? Because the fog light, okay, I'm going to start again. LED works off reflection.
Yep.
And then, so if you've got fog lights that are LED, as soon as you light them up, they tend to bring a white wall up in front of you. Because they're reflecting off the particles in the air, and it makes it worse. Like I've driven through fog with my LED lights on. Say you've got spotlights on, you turn them off, and you can see better.
Yeah.
So and that halogens I was doing a little bit of a look into it because I wanted to know why. And halogens actually just emit a different light frequency.
Yep.
So they penetrate. I'll just put a pause on penetrate for everyone there. Penetrate through the fog into the LED because of the actual light frequency.
Yep.
So to me, I used to get it when I was working for TJM. It was a horrible experience, but the sales guys basically pushed as much LED or whatever they could get out of onto the customer. And if I was ever up in the showroom, I'd say, "What are you doing, mate?" They'd say, "Oh, I'm driving on the beach, or I go beach fishing at night time." I'm like, "Well, you do not want LED lights then." And the sales guy would be like, I'd be like, "Piss off, man. Do you want the actual people to, understand that you're not just trying to sell them rubbish, you want to give them the best experience?" I said, if you're going to go on the beach...
all they want to do in places like that is they just want as much money as they possibly can.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if the customer's not happy with what they've got. Once they've paid the bill, picked it up, that's it.
Yeah.
They can deal with the angry customer down the track. As long as they've made their quote up, they're quite happy, which is terrible. Yeah. I was actually talking to someone about that today. So, yeah.
Well, the customer service on this place was atrocious, and the guy that runs it, don't get me started. But basically, what I said to this guy is, if you're going on the beach and then you're going to be on the highway, halogens aren't going to get that distance that you want. The best combination of all is 2 massive halogen spotties and a really high quality LED light bar that you can turn off separately.
Yep.
And that's what you're going to get. That's the best. If you're going on the beach and you turn those halogens on, you can see 3 dunes in front of you. As soon as the sun goes down on the beach and that salt air comes across, you hit an LED light and you can't see anything. And the place you want to not be able to see anything is when you go rolling over dunes. So, I ended up getting these firelights, which they had. I don't know if they still make them, but they had these firelights back then, and they were awesome. They were like $3,000 or something for these halogen lights. So I think I ended up getting a better sale than what the salesman did, and the guy actually understood that I knew what I was talking about. If you're going in the bush and you just stay in the bush, fuck off halogen. LED the shit out of it. LED all day.
The nice white light you get. You don't get LED headlights. You don't get massive distance out of. It's more with a spot, but you get that really nice white light, and I think that's what people like. Oh, it's a white light, looks amazing. But they don't understand they get a lot of depth out of them. That's like all the new cars are coming out. I don't know how many Toyota owners have come to see me about, is there something I can do to fix my lights because they're terrible on this car? I got no distance, and all the new ones LEDs.
Yeah, but
LEDs.
Every time, if I'm driving down the highway and there's a car with bright ass headlights coming towards me, I always say without fail, "Oh, here comes a Hilux." Yeah, and it's a Hilux standard headlights. They're just super super bright.
Yep.
So what I think it is, like I said with reflection, I think they're not getting the distance. They are getting the distance, but if you're banging it down the road, there's nothing to reflect on, so it looks like you're not getting the distance, but you actually are. You put LED lights on in the rain, and it's like you got no headlights on. But you got the halogens on in the rain, and you're sweet.
Yeah.
If you're in the bush and you're going up bush tracks, you've got the track in front of you. You've got all these trees, everything. You light up with the LED, and it's like the sun has come on.
Yeah.
So if you're going for a good combination, you probably have a really nice halogen headlight, maybe an LED headlight. Definitely halogen high beams. Halogen spotlights with an LED light bar, and halogen fog lights, or LED fog lights with a yellow filter.
Yeah, well, that fog lights are definitely, yellow filter is just the way to go.
Well, the yellow filter, that changes that light frequency again. Yeah. And that's why it works. That's why yellow is so much better, or orange even. So, that was something I wanted to bring up because I was talking about what lights I wanted to put on my bus and stuff, and I was like, halogens are probably more expensive than LEDs now as well.
Because LEDs got so popular that they've bought. But there's a lot of manufacturers that are coming out and getting, cheaper and cheaper and cheaper LEDs that aren't lasting, or they're just not worth it. The HIDs and things like that, they're overpriced, and that they good for some cars, not good for other cars. I do headlights that have got so you come out with I did a steamer the other day, a steamer, the imported Toyota Tarago thing, and
I did a steamer this morning. Yeah.
So it came with HIDs, and the guy wasn't happy with the HIDs because they kept failing, and he wanted to swap to LEDs, but we couldn't change the housing that held the lights in. We couldn't fit anything in except the HIDs. So we got it stuck. We couldn't do anything for him. We had LEDs for his high beams, which is what he wanted, but we couldn't change the HIDs out.
Well, I think it's a HID. I think it's HID for, oh, look out, you've been given a warning.
What did I get a warning for? What did I say?
I have to remove the Wizard of Dirty Tricks live content. That's not happening. I'm cancelling that. You must be drinking alcohol, mate.
I must be out of my water bottle.
Yeah. Well, maybe you shouldn't be talking about steamers.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't be talking about steamers live on HID steamers. Yeah.
Cookie, where are you from, bro? Like, local to who? And I'll tell you if it's the right one. But, yeah. No, that's funny. So, yeah, I've lost my train of thought. It's
that whole restriction thing. It set you off.
Yeah, no, it has. It's reset me. It's very
I can't drink for the rest of the night now. It's upset me too much.
Drinking Pepsi with no bourbon is a disciplinary action. Well, like we were just discussing before, I don't drink anymore. So it's kind of I've got like a whole bar here. I'm sitting next to my bar, but it's empty. And I think it's full of Hot Wheels cars. But yeah, if I drink different things, if I just drink Pepsi, I'm fine. But I don't drink alcohol anymore. If I drink on the live, though, I'll get in trouble. Doesn't matter what I'm doing.
Yeah. Or if you have a cup, you get in trouble.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's why I'm making sure I'm going like this. So because otherwise I get in trouble.
Placement. See, they're right with you with a Pepsi bottle, but I've got my own water bottle. They won't accept that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And so for my next thing I wanted to talk about was this great wall that we lifted about 2 months ago in a workshop. I never said anything about it. But we've lifted a great wall. It only had 1,300 kilometres on the clock. So brand new. And I put a full bolt-in kit with the owner. We both sat down on just a weekend and smashed a full bolt-in kit, all the extended shit, everything to make it work out, right? And it's got a knock in the front end. It had a knock in the front end before we lifted it. So that's why you thought, the stock suspension's rubbish. So we're going to lift it, get rid of this knock in the front end, which is probably the suspension, and it's still there. So he's taken it in. It's got 6,000 Ks or something on it now. He's taken it in and said, hey, it's got a knock in the front end, and I want you guys to look at it and work out what it is. And also, while it's here, can you service it? And they've said, oh, no, you can't. You can't service it because it's detrimental to the service schedule and to the warranty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Because it says 10,000. What they were saying was basically like, I just want to put 20,000 on the service sticker, but I can't now because you've come in at 5,000. Like I can't count past 10 or whatever his problem is, you know.
Oh, my book won't line up. It says 5, not 10.
And that's what he said. So the guy was complaining, saying that he was over servicing the vehicle and it was detrimental to warranty. I'm like, he must be the kid that you give the 85 cents to after you've paid for your food, and he sits there and you go, I just need like $4 back, $5 back now. And, oh no, here, yeah. I don't understand it. So the actual,
I got a coffee at Hungry Jack's this morning on the way to work, and I went in and it was like $6.15 or something, or $5.15. So I gave the guy 15 cents. So I gave him $5.15. He go, or whether it was, or $10.15.
Yeah.
Oh, you paid too much. I went, no, you just give me a $5 note back. And he goes, no, you gave me too much money. I'm like, oh God. Said just whatever, give me whatever back. I can't be bothered arguing with you over a coffee.
No, and I think there's a coffee shop down the road that Jasmine goes to, and she always just gives them like random money, and she says, not once have I ever got the right change back, but it's always more. And sometimes she gets more and the coffee, so they're paying her to take it. She's like, it's fantastic.
They're paying her to drink their coffee, so yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, because they can't count the money anymore.
Next to you. The paddock, no. The paddock next to me is still overgrown, although they did set fire to it again the other night. So I'll
come up. Why don't you just drive your tank around in there?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the thing is that it's all padlocked and bolted, and you can't get into the place. And barbed wire got top of the fence, so you can't get into it. If
you want to get in there, you can. I know you can.
Allegedly, I got a pair of bolt cutters, and I did get in there a while ago. So
yeah,
but then the police turned up. So yeah.
Yeah, so come in here, boys, and then you run around, they chase you, and the grass gets pushed over.
Yeah, exactly right, yeah.
That's good.
I just said everyone, all I do is we'll just leave a jerry can out there and a packet of matches, and it'll be cleared by, the next day. But I might not have a shop, so that's the only thing.
As long as your shed's not cleared.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
I got my phone on this weird angle, so it looks like I got these giant hands.
It's like,
yeah, I should put it up a little bit. And so
I look like I've got a tiny head the way I'm sitting. I've got to angle mine back a little bit, but...
I'm going to angle it forward so I don't look like I got these huge hands.
Don't go too far. We'll get kicked off again.
Yeah, look, I've got my zipper undone.
Yeah.
I'll get in trouble on here again.
Yeah, that's it.
What was my next one? Oh, look, there was I don't know if I want to talk about this, but it's a little bit controversial. It's
I'll get some water.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Drink some water off.
There we go. Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah. Well, look, there was a kid. I don't know the full story. I don't think everyone knows the full story, but there was a kid that was out doing burnouts. There's a couple of places out in the bush where they go, and this kid was out doing burnouts, and whatever's happened. He has hit a group of people, injured 2 girls, and killed a guy.
Well, I think I saw this on the news, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's taken off and burnt the car out and done a runner, basically. And from what I know is he handed himself in. He's been hit with like 9 charges, pretty serious charges. Like the kid's 22 and... thrown his life away. Effectively, obviously, he's hurt a lot of people, not just the guy that he has killed, but the other 2 women don't know what happened to them and families and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And that is, I would say, the 3rd death or massive injury that I've heard of in the last 18 months in this area. It's stuff that I used to go to. The kids these days, like we used to go out and do burnouts when I was younger. I've still got the car that I'm looking at the car that I went and did them in. And the kids these days, the way that they can steer, like you go out to this stuff, man, these roads are wide and sometimes there's 200-300 people. All the cars are along the gutter, they're off the road. And these kids are coming in, sometimes if they've started up the road, coming in at 100 k's an hour and throwing these things into 360s and driving out. I must say the driving that they do there now compared to back then is insane. Just amazing. I've never seen driving like that from kids, man. These guys are kids and they're throwing it around like experts. But fucking things happen and mistakes happen and we had the last one was a kid doing 100 something and he's ripped the handbrake up to slide a Subaru and it spun around backwards and gone into a car and it actually pushed the car into the group of people and ended up doing a lot of damage to I think it was like a few kids there actually. Now people are saying it's 1 o'clock in the morning, it's 12 o'clock at night, whatever's happening, like it's late at night. Why is there a 53-year-old man out in the bush watching burnouts? Why is there a 9-year-old kid out watching burnouts? It's just, there's always these discussions about, where are the parents, I don't know. I'd like to know what your point of view is on all this, because I know what mine is.
Well, there's a lot of the it's not as it is bad up here, but not that bad. But the latest thing that's going around here is the e-bikes, kids on e-bikes and stuff. There was a kid killed yesterday
Yeah.
wheeling an e-bike on they said he was doing 80, 100 kilometers an hour and flipped it, and he's dead. And I went into one of the shopping centres here. I had to go and get parts. So I had to go, excuse me, I had to go all the way to Kawana, which is, a couple of suburbs over. And there must have been 20 or 30 of these kids on these e-bikes and electric scooters cutting in and out of traffic and doing wheelies and stuff in and out of traffic. That's a different scenario to what you're talking about. This is middle of the day cutting traffic off and that, and I think that's ridiculous. But as far as going out and doing burnouts out in the bush and things like that, and you have certain places, and I used to do the same thing, we'd go and do it. But, I think, I don't know, it's a lot of people are watching nowadays YouTube, and you look at what do they call it, the takeovers in the States and places like that, and even in European countries and that. And they do those takeovers where they just rock up in cars, skidding them through intersections, doing crazy stuff. And maybe it's the way the young kids are in Australia now. We seem to be embracing that sort of lifestyle, and that's what's happening. But I mean, Aussies, we've always been known for doing the best burnouts in the world, and we probably always will. But like Billy was saying, we need a place to do it legally. People don't want it to be done legally. It makes it so bloody hard. You've got to do illegal things if you want to have some fun nowadays, or it's so over policed and over insurances and that you can't afford to go and do things. There's a mate of mine that puts on events and that, and he's really struggling with insurances and things like that, and he's had to ban some people from his events, and then they whinge and kick up a stink about it, and it's not fair and it's not that. I don't know what the answer is to fix the problem. Like that's
why I brought it up, because I don't have an answer either. But I've got Jace in the comments. He's saying, are you an old school Kurri guy or a new school Hez kind of guy? So this is what I'm talking about. Hez, it's the Hunter Economical Zone, but it's where the guys they built this massive place. It's like cul-de-sac to cul-de-sac, big straights, wide roads for an industrial area, and it fell on its face. So there's an industrial area that is massive, and there's nothing out there. There's maybe 2 or 3 buildings out there. So what do you think's going to happen?
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm talking about. Is like I am the old school Kurri kind of guy, to the point where I had my wagon, which is sitting here. It's a 6-litre LS now, but back then it was a 5-litre with a Gilmer drive, and I was the only one that really ran a Gilmer drive back then. I used to rock up, and I used to blow tyres off every single time I was there. I didn't care if it was a Tuesday morning. We were there to fuck tyres. And I used to get down there, and people would hear that Gilmer drive, and there'd be, sometimes, I'm not even kidding, there'd be 2,000 people there. Because it was big enough. It was probably 6 lanes wide and went for kilometres. Because it was a massive, like a coal, they'd like unload coal and grain. It's like along the docks there where all the exporting and importing stuff goes through. So I'd rock up there, and people knew what I was there for. So people would run out, and I'd be doing burnouts and stuff, but I never, ever swung the car near people. I never got into it near people, and I don't know, I've never come even close to ever tagging anyone.
Thing of they're thinking, I'm going to show you how good I am at steering and wheeling and how close I can get to people, or is it,
No, what I think it is now is like back then it was like that. Like I'll show you how good I can steer. I'll show you how, how much smoke I can put out. But it was, people stayed away. And still, I think people are staying away. But Hez, which is this new area, it's the rules are, it's cowboy, man. It's kind of like these kids. Like I can tell you what, these kids can fucking turn a wheel.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. Like they're coming in 6-cylinder Falcons, mostly Falcons, because they're the ones that can really put it down now. Commodores used to be, but they just don't have that top end power that the Falcons have now. Once you weld to death and you throw it, it's spinning. So there's these kids in Falcons, man, and they are coming in 100 k's an hour already locked. And it's kind of like, we're here to do burnouts. We're here to come in hard as fuck, man. I'm actually going to go out there and I'll film some stuff. but I'm not going to put anything out. But I can't even explain the driving that these kids are putting down. Yeah. And it's kind of like, we're here to skid. We're here to go hard. You know what you're here for, so you get the fuck off the road. Like, we're going. If you're on the road, that's your fault. And that seems to be the way that they drive, which oh, look, you got to... Oh, I'm just lost for words, man, because these kids can steer and it's crazy to watch. There is nowhere to go, bar also, I take that back. There is a burnout pad, a legal pad that they've opened just up the road there, but these guys are doing it like once a month. It's a tiny little pad. They've kind of taken a property from an old mine and they've knocked down, it's literally the toilet block. They knocked the toilet block down. They're using the slab of the toilet block to do burnouts. It's just... In my opinion, it's not big enough for the kids that want to throw these cars hard.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome, though. I go there, I watch it, I love it, I think it's great, and I really like the skid community. And if you want to get on the break and get in there and have a smash around, it's
we
awesome.
all do. We all want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to do it on bikes as well. Like we'd do 200 kilometre-hour wheel stands up the Gold Coast Highway and stuff. Me and my mates, because it was crazy. So. We all want to have a bit of fun. I'm just looking at Al's comment here. He's just saying here, I used to drag race people in Wagga next to the police station when it was dual lane. What year was that, Al? Because I used to live in Wagga a while ago, back in the day. I had a HQ with a 308 in it there, and then I had a VH Commodore with a 202 manual in it. I used to race up and down there, man, constantly. I had the best time of my life cruising in Wagga. Yeah, just wondering when it was. I'm
just reading the comments too because it's been going crazy. Hey Phil, it's good to see you again, brother. Are you talking about Kurri, Phil? But yeah, look, Jace is saying like there's more to a skid than a big tip in. I think there's different kinds of skids, to be honest. Like you can sit there.
There's heaps of different types of skids. There's the amount of burnout competitions that are going on now, and then you've got, the big tip-ins, and then you've got, speed. But it's combining drifting and burnouts and all the other stuff. So, but like people are saying, there's the time and a place for it as well. There is a time and a place for it, but it's harder and harder and harder to go somewhere and have a good time and do skids now. It's
But then again, right? So there's a time and a place for it, right? 1 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the bush in an old abandoned industrial area, to me, is the time and the place.
Yeah.
And everyone knows that. That's why there's so many more spectators. And there's more spectators, people that I find there's a lot of people as well, and I don't credit to them. If they like their cars, they like their cars. There's different kinds of car people. There's people that like Euros. There's people that like American muscle and stuff. And then amongst that, like there's people like Commodores.
Yep.
Hey, for example, like me, I like my Commodores. I've owned a Commodore my whole life. But there's people that like Commodores, like, say, Deacon, like the Commodore man.
Yep.
That does a lot of his reviews on here. He likes his stock standard old Commodores.
Yep.
And he likes to cruise them around and makes it like a cool noise. I don't. I like my Commodores, but I like 100k tip-ins on the highway. I like thrashing the absolute fuck out of this car. So therefore, you've got people that enjoy the cars, but they can't steer the cars like these kids can steer.
Yeah.
And therefore, if they can't steer the car, they can't read the body language of the car. Yeah. So you might have something like I can walk out to these places where they're doing burnouts, and these Falcons, you're watching them, and in the middle of the night, from the angle of the headlights, the revs and the speed, I know if I stand here, it's going to go past me, but if I stand here, it's going to hit me.
Yeah.
I know that 20 seconds before it gets there, but if you can't, I'm not saying like, well, I'm going to say, if you can't fucking skid and you can't steer, then you don't know where that car's going to go. Yeah. And people get hit because there's people out on the street filming, and they're watching these guys out on the street filming as these cars are coming past 100 kilometers an hour backwards.
Yeah.
But the guys that are filming can steer. They can read the car. They can read the way the car's going. And so they're out there. It looks like they're in a bad spot, but they're not.
Yeah.
And so these guys are going, oh, yeah, I can walk across the street. Fucking bang.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's crazy. So, of course, I'm not going to say I endorse doing illegal things. I'm getting old and I've been legit my whole life. Like, you know, from when I joined, before the army, I was a bit crazy. And, but, you know, when I joined the army and I've done everything I can legit, I'm not about trying to rot the system or anything like that. But when it's been 50, 60 years in this town, and Newcastle is arguably, you know, between Wangaratta and a couple of other towns, it's the hoon capital of the country, I think. And they don't have anything here.
Yeah.
And so it's out there happening, and there's a whole new world. There's a whole world out there of street racing, throwing thousands of dollars at each other. Groups from Sydney, groups from Canberra, everywhere coming together. If you don't know about it, you don't know. Yeah. And there's all these things happening, even with the legal burnouts. And I don't know if this is true, but the guys that hold these legal burnouts, I've heard if they know that you skid on the street, they won't allow you to skid at their pad.
Yep.
They're like, we don't want you to bring this bad reputation to us. But here I am going, well, you know, now you're not helping anyone by not having them at the pad.
Well, then you look at I was looking at the comments here, social media, stuff like that. The Mexican hoon cartel that's all over YouTube in AU Falcons and skidding, and then those boys can throw them around with the best of them.
Oh, yeah.
They're not welcome at there's a lot of places that they can't go to. Like, they won't accept them at Power Cruise. They won't accept them at any of those test and tune days. They won't accept them in any of those sort of areas. So, yeah, like you're saying, some of the people that are pretty good drivers but do that sort of stuff, you try and go to a legal event, they're like, no, you can't. So what are they going to do? Of course they're going to keep doing what they're doing, you know? Yeah.
And that's like, yeah, I understand, like, there's phones and cameras and all that now, and there's people, you know, you can throw it on social media. Yeah. You know, I'm from back when they didn't have phones and stuff like that.
I'm the same, man. I'm from back in the day. We used to do all this stuff. There's no evidence of us ever doing it. You know, there's I think I got photos that I've got in photo albums of me doing burnouts because that's all we had back then. That was it. So,
but like, I won't film anyone. I won't film anyone doing anything. I saw there was a video went up on, there was a car show, the Garage Talk podcast. There, some local guys trying to push their podcast really hard, and they're three guys from arguably different backgrounds that they've got their own little crews, and they've put this podcast together, and it's a real good mix. And they put on a little car show at a pub, and it locked the traffic up. It went crazy. It was this massive thing. And then there were cars and stuff doing burnouts and having a bit of a smash when they left the pub, and someone had filmed it and just made this big compilation, put it all over Facebook, and I was like, man, the plates are all there. Like, I know some of the people that had cars, and they were coming out and just giving a little squirt and going up the hill. Yep. Like, there's cars that I know guys have owned for 20 years, and the way the world's going, you just go put that out. There'll be cops knocking at their door if the wrong person watches it. And
I'm trying to figure out Al. Sorry, dude. I'm listening to you, but I'm like, Al's down here. I'm like, Wagga, 98 back in the day. Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm just like, I'm trying to place this dude, eh? No.
You're trying to make friends.
Oh, no. I'm just trying to figure out, back in the day, Wagga, Matt.
Yeah, Belly's saying me and my brother got booted from a drift event because we were messing around on the way there. Yeah. Like, what you do out on the street, like, is what you do out on the street, and you own it. I own everything.
It doesn't have any bearing to being into an event. Like, you know, it's like, if you do something inside the event, get booted. Can totally understand that. But you pull up there and go, oh, we got told that you were doing this on the way here. You're not allowed in. Piss off.
Yeah, because you've done something illegal on the way to do something legal. Like, to me, that's like walking out of my house and then hitting the piss at a public park and then going to the pub and they're like, we seen you drinking at the park. You can fuck off.
You're not allowed near. Yeah.
And then you wonder why people are out there drinking on the street and causing shit. No, that's definitely the exact same example. I don't understand it.
No.
I just Yeah, look, I don't know. I I know my car ended up on a list for a little bit, like on a police list, so I haven't really taken it out since then. That was a year ago. Plus, I pulled the engine out of it, so it seems like
it's still in bits at the moment. So, yeah.
What's that, sorry?
Yours is still in bits at the moment?
Yeah, look, I've got way too much stuff to worry about other than putting that back together. I love to. Like, I keep looking at it. I look at it every week now because I'm in here, and I'd love to get it running again. And
yeah,
I keep seeing all these LS converted Commodores, and it hurts me. But at the moment, I've just got to concentrate on shutting this shop down.
Yeah. Oh, you must be. What's the time? You haven't got long left. Had a couple of weeks there, so
yeah. So not this Monday coming. I'd say next Monday. I'm going to move the hoist and everything out. I've found a new place to go. That's just basically storage. So I'm just going to store my hoist and everything. I've also picked up a guy that wants to go out on his own, and I'm just going to sort of help him get going. I think he's got the potential to take off running anyway. But we're going to work together. He's a big name in Newcastle, and it'll be a bit of a surprise when everyone finds out that he's left where he's left to go out on his own. And I'm not going to break any news to anyone before that. They can find out when he finds out. When he goes live, then I'll do big shout outs for him because he's a good bloke. But yeah, so I'll be back out on the streets again soon, I can't wait. Honestly, like I want to be out doing that mobile shit again. I don't know. The workshop was something that I thought I wanted, and it ended up not being that way. I just sit here and go, I have been in workshops forever. I have all this fun when I'm out doing mobile, and now I've locked myself away again. What the fuck am I thinking?
Because you're the opposite to me. Like, I'm happy having my workshop and somewhere to go and have everything set out and laid out and that. And I couldn't go back to doing mobile stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's
But I mean, it's one of those things. Like, it's you enjoy doing this and I enjoy doing that. So, yeah. Gary Myers servo. I remember Gary Myers servo in Wagga up near the train station. Definitely. I used to have a white VH Commodore with a Group 3 kit on it. It was only a 6-cylinder with a manual in it. And it had a big sticker on the back window of Casper. It had Casper written there with the ghost on the back. And that was me back in the day. So I don't know if you guys remember that or not. So 1988 Wagga Nats, yep. Now, I remember we used to go to the service station down the end there. We used to hang out. And, I remember when it was 2 lanes as well. You go up and the left-hand side, you go through the bottle, so it'd be half a dozen and a burnout when you went through there. So I used to always go through there, and the lady would go, she got to know us, one of the chicks in there, she'd go, half a dozen and a burnout. I'd go, no problems at all. Half a dozen cans in there and a big skid for you. So, yeah.
Was that when you're leaving the servo?
Yeah, man, yep.
Wow.
But we used to get away with that. Well, I got done. I didn't get done. Well, I did. I got done at the front of a service station in Wagga. It was 4 lanes wide, so it's 2 lanes one way, 2 lanes the other way. So I pulled out this servo and I whipped donuts in the middle of all 4 lanes. And I got busted by the cops because they watched me do it. And I got done for undue noise. It was like a $70 fine, and that was it. And I was still pissed off back then about it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's rude. I've been done for noise in my Commodore, which was actually hilarious because when it was a V6, it was P-plater, and I had a massive stereo in it, like proper big. We used to have sound offs. There was a place it's still there, Pro Sound at Jesmond, and they used to have sound offs there. They probably still do. And I came third almost three competitions in a row, but the car that came first literally didn't have anything but a massive sub in it. Like, I don't even think it was registered. It was something that they just used for sound offs. Yep. And the number 2 was this massive show car, and mine was just this dirty street Commodore wagon with stupid, like, I lit the subs on fire one time in the back in the sound off Addies. If you would have seen Copper burn before, It's like had Clarions, the real nice white dish Clarions back in the day, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was watching the sound meter. It was like 139. And I was like, that, which is pretty good back then, like in a Commodore wagon from 212s, 139. And then it went 115, 90, 150. And I was like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, these sound crap. And the smell, bro, the whole car filled up with smoke. And there were flames like this coming out of both subs, just these big green flames. I'm like, oh wow, that smashed the fuck out of me.
Smoking the voice coils.
yeah, like it burnt awesome. The center out, and I caught on fire.
Yeah.
And then for coming third, I won 2 Clarion subs, so I just catched them, which was awesome.
The sacrifice was worth it. So.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 139 dB. I won a heap of stereo comps in the day. I got same. I used to compete all the time. I won a heap of stereo comps, and I won a DB drag race comp, and I was only putting out 142 decibels back in the day.
That's a lot, man. That's a lot. So the guy that comes first...
comp, this is how old I am. So I won a dyno comp with a VL turbocharged wagon I had, right?
Yeah.
And we're at I lived in Bateman's Bay, and we had the South Coast Nationals every year, and Lee and Debbie put it on. Amazing people, man. It was so cool. I used to go every year. And even when I moved to Queensland, I'd purposely go back every year just to support them and do the show. So I always had a couple of cars. I always had like 2 or 3 cars at the time. And this one year I had my HJ Tequila Sunrise, and I had it there, and I bought a VL turbo station wagon. We just finished building it, and it had a half walkie kit on it. It was the Ford Phantom purple colour.
Yeah.
Big fusion system in it. So they were having a dyno comp. There wasn't many people in the dyno comp, and there was no one in the 4 6-cylinder induction class. So my brother jumped in my VL and threw it on the dyno. We won the dyno comp, first place for 216 kilowatts at the wheels. That was it. And that won first place in the dyno comp back then.
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, so funny. Well, with this car anyway, I know that the back windows on these VS wagons are about $580 because I knocked it out 4 fucking times. And I did two windscreens as well. Yep. Because the mirror used to vibrate so much that the backing plate just a crack straight down the middle of the windscreen. Yep. So this wagon used to get smashed with the subs. It was loud, like it was proper loud. Yep. And it would have been back when the coppers were VEs or VYs, VZs, something like that. And they were on the highway doing an RBT. And I just drove past. Like, I was in the right lane and drove past. And then I'm cruising out to the lights, and these cops up behind me. And they pulled me over. And she's like, because I hadn't done anything wrong. I was just cruising past with the music up. And she's like, you're the car with the loud stereo? I'm like, yeah. And she goes, yeah, that's, do you know how loud that is? I'm like, well, I can actually tell you exactly how loud if you wanted to know. And she says, do you know how dangerous that is? And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, you can't hear emergency vehicles coming. And I was like, I can hear you.
Yeah, that's it. I heard you coming.
And she's like, yeah, but, it's so loud. How are you supposed to hear? And I was like, well, my best friend's mum's deaf. How and she can drive? Like, I don't know how she's supposed to hear you. That's what the lights are for. You got the sirens and the lights. And I ended up having this big argument with her. And she sent me the fine. I think it was $216 something. Because as I went past the cars doing the RBT, the 2 cars at the front, and I think there was a car at the end, and then 3 at the front. The 2 at the front were turned off and set off both their alarms on the right lane as I went past. And that's why she pulled me over. I was like, that's pretty sick though, isn't it? Yeah, and she just and I had to pay this fine. And it was like, I don't think there were points attached to it, but $200 something because I rolled past and set their precious alarms.
It's crazy that they can send you a fine by saying it's too loud with no proof. Let's go. It's too loud.
Like, I was a P plate. It's a V6. I was a P plate. I just went, I'll pay this because that's pretty sick. I set these 2 cars off and had an argument with them. We used to go. There was a Charlestown Thursday night when I was a P plater. Fuck, I was a menace. The stories I could tell you out there, just in the car park, being dickheads in the cars. I used to go up there with a mate of mine. and he had a Ford Courier. It's actually like my Raider, but the Ute version. He had all these subs in it too. It's funny. But we'd have a song where we knew it would, like, because I used to DB race, so you'd see where the high DB was. So I'd put this song on, and I knew it was like a minute 47 was heavy as. Yep. So I'd have it turned down, and I'd go like a minute 47, and I'd pause it, and we'd go into the car park at Charlestown and turn it up as loud as I could, and I'd just go, play, pause. And my record was 6 cars at once. So you'd pull up, there was Myers. So there was Myers on the back level there. And I'd pull up at Myers and there'd be all these teeny boppers running around. It was 12V Central. And I'd go, play, pause. Everyone had hit the ground. And it'd be about 6 car alarms going, boo, 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 boo. And I'd just smile, just drive off. So
you'd set your CD up. You go, okay, this is exactly where it's got to be at. And that.
Yeah. I just go in. Play, pause, smash, and then it's leave. Oh, bro, it's so funny.
Oh, dude, yeah. Oh, mate, I used to love it. Like the Skits Mix CDs.
Yeah.
Dude, I had every one of those. That was amazing. They're the best.
Yeah, they were.
That one. Al, you'd remember Bumper to Bumper back in the day in Wagga. I bought my first stereo off them. Like my first CD player, Pioneer CD player, and it was nothing. It just CD player, and it was. Today's standard, it was just a piece of crap you throw in the bin. I think I paid $1,100 for it, and I was one of the first ones with a CD player in my car. So that was pretty cool.
So, Leroy, one big V8, is that a gold Statesman? A gold, like, DeVille? Because I'm pretty sure I've met him before, if it's the same guy. I don't know him. Big fella, though. Yeah, that's it. So I've met him at Power Cruise and stuff like that, but now I was just having a chat with him. I don't know him personally or anything like that. Does he still have that thing? Because that's a bit of a beast. It was a big gold, DeVille. And I don't know what motor was. I was fucking young back then too.
Yeah, power. 871 or something.
V6 I was a V6 with a welded diff, I think, back then. Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, God.
Well, have you got any subjects you want to bring up?
Oh, mate, I've got my list right here. Check this out. Full list.
Good. I've just gone through. I've still got one, but I think I'm just going to turn it into a TikTok tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
I've been up and down my TikToks this week. I posted a couple, then didn't, and then I had a couple, and then I'm going to post these, and I went, nah, delete. I couldn't be bothered. So I think I've done that before. I say to people like, I'm not posting. What did I say? I'm not posting for entertainment. I'm posting when I've got something that I want to actually put out there. So I see too many people posting 10 TikToks a day. It's like, dude, what are you shooting for being famous or something? I'd like to do TikToks when I got something to tell people about or shit like that. But no, I got a couple here, man, that I've going on. The big one with you and me have been chatting about. So my bike. My Harley, my show bike, that fell over the garage.
I did want to know about this,
Yeah, so everyone wants to know about what happened with it. They're like, it fell over. There's no way they can ride it off from just falling over in the garage. But it didn't look bad when I first did the video on it. And I was like, oh, it's not bad, it should be an easy fix. But when they've actually got it in the shop and they've gone through and they've found scratches and chips and things that are slightly bent on it, it's there's a lot more than people think in it. It's all of it's custom. The paintwork's custom. They can't just touch the paint up. Like I said to one guy, how can they ride off? I'm like, to get it painted, it's $8,000. He goes, there's no way it's $8,000 on a bike. Well, it is. There's $2,500 in labour to strip the bike to get it ready for paint.
Yeah,
and it's not just unbolt a saddlebag. My saddlebag lids, there's I think 46 pieces just hold the lids on, and you got to pull all those apart. All the pipe work on the turbo. There's scratches and dents in the pipe that I didn't even see, but to get those fixed, there's hours and hours and hours of stuff to get fixed on that. The switch blocks, you got to pull the bars off, all that sort of stuff. There's so much work in doing it. And I had a bloke the other day going, oh, it can't be that bad, just chuck it back together. And I'm like, well, it's like if you get rear-ended in your car and the insurance company was to just throw a set of taillights in, leave it all dented, put the taillights in and hide it behind a bumper bar, you wouldn't be happy with that. You're paying your insurance for a reason. you want it to come back the way it was, you know. I don't want to go better than it was. I want it to be how it was when it came back. I wouldn't expect to get my...
It says it in the contract. Like when you read the contract, when you go and claim for an accident, it says the vehicle is to come back in the same condition as before the accident. That's all it is.
Yeah. And everything on that bike's custom. The saddlebags are all stretched. The side covers and everything, it's all custom. There's a lot of parts on that bike that come from the States that the companies aren't even in business anymore. I can't get them. You know, there's so much stuff that it can't be replaced. And then I'm going to buy it back, but then I was talking to a gentleman that just had his bike fixed and he had to go to the WAVI, the written off vehicle register. You have to go and get the bike inspected to get it back on the road. And he was saying they're getting harder and harder to get it through. It's virtually almost got to be stock for them to repass it. So I couldn't turn my bike back to stock if I wanted to. You know, the front end's been cut. It's been raked. It's had everything on it's been changed. It's for me to take it back to stock would be more than it costs to repair it. So
you might have to give it to me, mate.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Well, a few of my mates said to me I should buy it back and just turn it into a show bike only and just trailer it to shows and not like still be able to ride it, but just have it set up so it's not registered. I'll just fix it and just trailer it to shows and keep it like that, maybe. So
I couldn't do that. I couldn't. Yeah. Well, you know what? I take that back. I think if my Commodore ended up getting to a point where it was defected off the road and you couldn't put it back on the road again or whatever, I've sunk 6 figures into it. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Well, what I am going to do is cut a fucking hole in the bonnet, and it's going to start running methanol with a blower, and then I'll have to tow it. Well, you know, I'll probably still drive it up the road every now and again. I can't help myself.
Yeah. Well, that's the same my bike. I'm even thinking, I've got a few ideas going on in my head. I've been thinking about, like, I'm thinking about even turning it, and once again, I'm going back to, like, I love shit in America, and, you know, I love the stuff they do there. They're turning their bikes into sound-off bikes over there, and it's going mental, like absolutely insane. I'm thinking, why don't I buy it back, and I'll just do 2 10-inch subs in the saddlebags and do a top box full of amplifiers and do another 4 or 5 speakers in the front of it, you know, do something out there that no one's seen before, you know, in Australia. When I did the stretch, the big wheel, the turbo and all that on it, you still don't see many bikes like mine over here. There's a lot of baggers on the road, but there's not many that are like American-style baggers, that are turbo and big audio in it. So maybe I should try and do something like that with it. I don't know. I've got a heap of ideas. Definitely going to buy it back, but I just need to figure out what I'm going to do after I buy it back.
Why don't you cut it in half and put a trike rear end on it and use the saddlebags as wheel covers?
Yeah. Oh, see? Yeah, we got ideas. The big ones on there and build a bigger motor and do skids with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so no, that's the thing. A lot of people they don't realise how much work is actually in that bike. You know, even just to change, like it's got amplifiers hidden in the fairings and things like that. So when you take the front fairing off, there's amplifiers and wiring, and there's just so much crazy stuff that's been done to that bike. And it wasn't done in 6 months or anything. That took 7 years to build that thing. So there's a lot of work and a lot of time in it as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, how long have you had it for as well?
Oh, man, I've had that... I've had it for about 10 years now.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so and all my kids are growing up with it too. My daughters... so my twin boys, they were just born when I bought it. Or it might have been just after that.
Yeah.
So they've grown up with it. And I've got videos of them when they were babies sitting on it, me holding them, and I've got them run around little outfits in the back shed or putting their push bikes up beside it. I've got photos of my daughters sitting on it. It's part of the family now. I can't just give it up. No. And everyone goes, just get your cash, man, send it to the auctions, get yourself something new. I can't do it. I can't give it up. It's cursed. It's definitely cursed. That bike's given me nothing but headaches from the day that I bought it through to now. But I just can't part with it. So
got all the parts for that VS today. Yeah. Yeah, no worries, Bell. Get that thing running. I'm going to be out bloody 4-wheel driving tomorrow and trying to break my own shit, and then I'll be back up at the shop on Sunday. I've got a Caprice stuck on the hoist at the moment. It was meant to be one of those 2-hour jobs, and now it's going to be up there for a week. But yeah, I can put the VS underneath the hoist because I think you need back tires or something. I have the back tires there, so I think we can throw it down and take the wheels off, and I'll sort the tires out for you. So yeah, bring it in, hit me up, fucking tomorrow afternoon or even Sunday morning. I'm going to be out 4-wheel driving all day. I'm going to film a bit of stuff. I'm going to go out with the boys, and then Sunday, then that night, I'm going out to the pie run to the Baker's Cottage. So, and then
I'm just showing everyone that it's only water. So it's a water bottle.
Yeah. Full of just
not alcohol.
Yeah,
not a King Brown. It's water. Okay. Yeah.
I saw someone wrote. I forget who wrote it now because the comments. Oh, it was Al. I'm pretty sure. So he wrote people that are bringing in cars for test drives and they got no fuel in them. So if I get a car that doesn't have fuel in it, I usually tell them if it's a diesel or something, I ain't doing a fuel filter in it. Like, because I've got the... If they come in with no fuel,
a funny story about diesels, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah, if they don't have any fuel, I said, I can't do the fuel filter until you bring it in with at least half a tank, because I've got to crack the fuel lines and then drag whatever the shit you have at the bottom straight through this new filter. And a lot of the time, you have so much trouble bleeding up an empty tank. Yeah, just fucking not worth it. So
yeah, James here, a lot of pics with kids that they keep them forever. That's exactly right, man. I've got memories come up on my phone nowadays of my kids with everything, but I've got photo albums of cars and one of my eldest son, like in actual photo albums, you've got to flick through and go through the old school photo albums and that, man, and some of the cars. I think I've had 100. I think I've had over 100 cars now. It's just crazy, and I'd always sell them. I'd sell my cars to buy another one, finish it, sell it, buy another one. And I said to my missus, I said, I'm not selling any more cars. The HZ, that's another thing. I just finished that tonight, did the last bits in it. Man. But I'm not selling cars anymore. I'm going to keep them. So I'm going to buy the Harley back and do it. I've got my other Harley, Elvis, my Road King. Actually, Belly in the comments, he's got Elvis at the moment. I'll let it in for a while so he can get out and ride it. But I'm going to... HZ's going to go home. I'm going to find something else to put in its place, and I'm going to build that up next. But I'm just going to start collecting more and more cars.
Yeah. Well, if you can, you might as well. Al, I don't have any tickets, man. I did try to do it, and I'm closing the workshop now, so I don't have a place to work from. And I bought all the equipment. I've probably put $6,000 into trying to get tickets over the last 6 months, and they just sit there and they ask me, at what temperature do I want my toast in the morning, like everything. What my favourite fucking position is with my wife. And it just got to the point where I was like, it's too much bullshit for, a $40 inspection. I'm just not into it. So I didn't do it. I've sort of got all the equipment. Like I said, I've got another guy that's starting with me. He's got all the tickets. So he can either borrow my shit or he can buy my shit off me, because I'm not going to do it. It's going to get to the point where I'm probably not even going to want to be in the trade by the time I can do it. And like they keep throwing so many new rules on top of things. It's getting crazy. So, for $40, it's not even worth it for anyone. That's why you can't get a blue slip anymore, because that's probably even worse, And Jaden's written if he takes, or her, don't know, he or her, Jaden could go either way. If I take pics of my kids with the cards, does that mean that I get to keep them all forever? I agree. I think so. Yeah, if you've got photos with the kids in the car, then it means you have to keep the car. Tell the other...
I agree with that.
I'm staying a family now.
Yeah, you have to. We have to. Yeah. I just go through it. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day about the amount of cars that I've sold over the years.
Yeah.
And just thinking I'm making a killing on it, and now those cars are worth 10 times what I sold it for. I'm like, man, if I'd have kept some of those cars, I'd be, I've had VRVS Maloo Utes that I sold for like $10,000, thinking I was making a killing on it. I've had LJ Tiranas, LH Tiranas. I've had HQs with Chevs in them. I've had all these cool cars over the years. Club Sport, Senators, GDSs. I had a VS Club Sport that I sold. This was only before I got married, so probably 16 years ago. We had it as our wedding car. I picked it up cheap, fixed it, and I sold it for 12 grand, and it's worth 50 or 60 grand now for that thing. And
yeah, man.
No more giving cars away. You're going to keep them. Going to keep them. I'm going to be one of those old men with a garage full of cars, and when I die, my grandkids later go, "Holy shit, Granddad was cool."
Yeah. I nearly bought a Porsche when I was a kid because I had the money there, and they come right down. I think it was a 936 or something. There was the '02 model all the way up to 17. I think they were. Don't quote me. I was a kid back then, but they were the same shape. And I think the only difference, maybe it was 96 doesn't matter. If you get the cheaper one, it was 12 grand. It was a 96 model, say. It was the same shape all the way up. All you had to do was get the later model indicators, and no one would fucking know. And I ended up buying a house instead. But those things were 10, 15 grand, and now they're $60,000, $70,000.
Yeah.
The house definitely gave me a bit better of a return than that.
I still don't have a house yet. I'm old without a house. It's crazy.
I remember selling a mint Statesman, 5-litre Statesman. I actually had that was a Mercedes. I had a 300 SEC Mercedes, and I had it for sale for a year, and I couldn't get rid of it. It probably owed me 5 or 6 grand, and ended up swapping a Statesman for it, and I sold the Statesman for 2.5 grand. And it was such good. It was 160,000 Ks, perfect condition with an exhaust. That car they'd want 15, 16 for it now if it was still around.
Hell yeah.
And then Jaden, who was a him, I've been clarified as being a him, which was awesome. I got Jaden friends that are girls and boys, so I was like, don't want to
offend anybody. We don't want to offend anyone. We'll get kicked off.
Jesus, don't want to defend anyone. He said, I think it was his uncle had an XY GT and he wrote it off doing silly shit. My cousin, who is actually in hospital at the moment having his leg removed. He just had his leg removed for the craziest reason. But anyway, I'll get back into that later maybe. He had Brocs and XU1s and just all the classics. And bro, flipped them through roundabouts and rode them off. Fell into a fucking pond or something doing burnouts. Just the amount of cars, these wicked cars that just got thrashed, and $1,500 for an XU1. Who cares? It was XU1 with I think they dented a panel or something, and they ended up just kicking the panel back out and bogging it, and they sprayed the whole car matte black with spray cans, and then it rotted the motor, so they put an old 308 in it. So it was a genuine LJ XU1, and they just trash it, and it's so funny, man. These cars that you have that you just don't know what's going to be a classic and what's not.
Yeah, that's you never know what's going to happen down the track, man. So,
I always thought that XJS that I had at the shop. I thought that would be a classic car, and fucking no one likes them. You can pick them up for fuck all.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a sick car. They're cool to drive, and I like the interior. I think it's just Jaguar they have such a bad name back then for reliability, like Aston Martins and shit like that. So
like the Roadkill crew did the Jaguar, the Dragwar with a blower at the bottom. That was cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool, man.
I like Jags. I've always liked Jags. But fucking no one else does. And I said to Jasmine, if this Jaguar came up for sale or something, I'd consider buying it. I'd probably pull the 5-litre out and put an LS in it just because it'd be reliable. But she's like, that's the most ugliest motherfucker I've ever seen. She's like, look at it's got hexagonal headlights. What is that? And I was like, I just like it.
It's weird styling cues they've got. We'll round everything off, but then we'll put these square headlights in it just to
and they're not even. They're like concave, but they're hexagonal, and they're all a weird light. I'm sitting there going, well, imagine trying to replace the fucking thing. Yeah. So Phil's. He's got his uncle has taste. He's got a fucking Jag, bro. It's sick. I love it. I love Jags.
Yeah, Leyland P76. The only good thing about that was the V8's in it, wasn't it?
Yeah, 4.4 alloy.
Motor. Yeah. Because so many people are pulling the motors and sticking them into things. So, what's the bloody the Lexus V8s there? The one ZUF, whatever they are.
There's 1, 2, and 3 UZs.
Yeah, they're putting those in everything. I've seen turbo, twin turbo, supercharged in so many different cars, man.
Well, they take it. They just take a beating. I think they're quad cam though, so they'd be a pain in the ass to do an NA build on. Like if I had a quad cam motor, I'd just boost it because fuck doing 4 cams.
Yeah.
Like we spend 12 grand on 4 cams to make 80 horsepower, or spend 12 grand on a blower and double your horsepower.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. No, that's it.
No, that's what I'd be doing. Oh
man.
I actually remember I was in the wagon. I would have been, I don't know, 21, 22. So that's fucking a long time ago. Had the 5-liter in it though. And there's a road where we are. It goes from like where the main shops are, sort of down at Jasmine. And it goes up this hill, it goes past the hospital, and it goes all the way out to like the lake. And there's a road that connects from just past the hospital to like out near the lake there. It's this big highway. And I've pulled up at the traffic lights in the wagon, and this P76 pulls up next to me with an old bloke. It was a cream P76 on like Warriors that had these cool fucking wheels on it. And it just had this real ticky V8, like that real ticky, choppy V8. And mine was just a standard 5-liter. I had 3500 stall and the Gilmer drive and dump pipes, and then he's got this cammed up P76. And I'm looking at it, and he's looking at me, and I'm like, we're both like, yeah, that's fat. And we're going down the highway, doing 90, and he hit it a little bit, and then I hit it, and next minute, both of us 140, P76 and a VS wagon with a Gilmer drive banging, just smashing up the highway together, man. And we did it for about 4 or 5 sets of lights, and then he's like, oh, mate, that car sounds awesome. I'm like, I didn't even know what he had. And I fell in love with the P76 ever since then. I think that was awesome. Good times.
Oh, we got here, buddy. Celsius. Oh, yeah, Celsius, V8 Celsius. So,
man, I have to go
all
back.
electrical nightmares in it. They threw so much electronics into those things. They're going to be a bloody nightmare. No. We've done it again, eh? We keep missing all these comments because we just...
Yeah, no, I hate it. I hate missing the comments, guys.
I've even got my glasses on. I'm still having trouble reading them.
Benny there talking about a Clubman Mini with a Z13B. Is that a Suzuki motor? Or are you talking about a fucking rotary? I don't know these little petrol motors enough. If it's not V8, I'm sort of turned a blind eye.
Weren't they doing the Suzuki GDI motors into minis at one stage? I remember a lot of people with...
Maybe.
Someone,
I wouldn't put a rotary in anything.
Yeah,
GTI Swift motor, that's what he's saying, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Because I had a Swift motor in a Sierra. I didn't put it in there, but I bought it like that. And it had a body lift and spring lift and 28-inch tyres, which on a soft top Sierra looked massive. I never had the roof on it. And we ended up painting it in brake caliper paint. Kept getting scratches, and we ended up, because I had this silver brake caliper paint that I painted my Commodore with, and it had like a really cool sparkle. And one of my mates, he's autistic and he's a perfectionist and he's not a bad painter. And I was like, hey, let's paint me Suzuki. And I gave him all these brake caliper paint, and he's like, bro, I'm not doing it. I'm like, you are doing it. So as he painted a panel, I went across with a heat gun and just killed the whole thing, and it was sick. But that thing I used to drop the tyres down at the back to 15 PSI, and it revved to 9.5 grand. And I remember racing a 253 WB. Actually, no word of a lie, it's going to be funny, the same fucking lights as the P76.
So your drag strip. It sounds like you had a drag strip set up there.
Yeah, well, it's a big straight. So, like, if I'm going out to Belmont or Swansea or whatever, it's just, if you find someone to play with, you just play. Yeah. And, this white WB's next to me, and it was loud, and I'm like, oh, what's that? He's like, oh, 253, and my car was sitting there, had cams in it too, it was fucking just shaking around, angry little car. and I clutch kicked this thing at like 6,000 RPM when the lights went, and it's just boom, just wheel stood. They used to wheel stand first gear, both wheels, and then if you flat changed second gear on the limiter, which I don't recommend, but I used to, and then lift the front left wheel all through second gear as well, man. It fucking hammered. We couldn't get the GTI motor to fit in, so I ended up just cutting a hole in the firewall, and the Dizzy came through, so you could see the Dizzy. You could grab the Dizzy and turn it like there's the Dizzy and then the gear stick. So you could like hit third, and you could change the timing.
Fly, just a couple more degrees, that should be right.
Yeah, but you go bang, and it's lift up, and then it drop down. You hit second, just lift that fucking front wheel, and then it go down, and it chopped this WB like 5 or 6 car lengths.
He would have taken the next left and gone home. You'd go, no, I'm out. I'm fucking done.
He was shaking his head, and then he was actually angry about it.
Yeah.
And then I did it again. There was a bright yellow Honda Accord in town with fucking rims on it, and a little ethnic fellow, and he was just revving it, and I just destroyed him in this Suzuki Sierra. Yeah, that was cool. Actually, I didn't lose my license, but I got done in it. I was doing 160 or something coming home. It was like 11 o'clock at night, this back highway. And yeah, I'm doing 160 in this Sierra with no roof on it, man. Just hammering 10 o'clock at night. And yeah, the cops pulled me over. And I turned it, as soon as they pulled me over, I just turned it straight off because it was it used to idle real rough. And I'm like, I don't want him to go over this thing. And the cop goes, I checked my gun 3 times before I pulled you over because I didn't think one of these could go that fast.
Oh, shit.
I was like, oh, yeah, it took me ages to get there. Not really. I think I still had 2 years left, but I was just like, and because I used to, down that highway, I'd gear change it on limiter because it used to light the wall up next to you, like when it threw flames, and then I'd change gears, and I thought it was sick. But yeah, I was getting deployed with the army about a month later, and so you go to training and you're there for a couple of months, and then you go overseas. It was 10 months or something. So I went to court before it, and they're like, "Oh, you can lose your license for 2 years, or you can go on good behaviour for 1 year." I was like, "Oh, that'll do. I'll go good behaviour." And then I went overseas for a year and come back with a full license.
Full points.
I've never lost my license either. So yeah.
What? Holy shit!
Never. And I should have a few times. I've done burnouts in front of cop cars. I've done burnouts with the cops.
Yeah.
Which is
I've been booked a few times, and I'm like, I'm going to wear that one because 10 other things I've done before it was so much worse, and I didn't get caught. And I'm like, oh, Back in the day, I'd lose. If a cop pulled me over, I'd lose my shit. I'd be like, this is fucking bullshit, and I'd go off and absolutely fucking lose it. And then now, you get a little bit older, you're like, you know what? I got to owe this, and you got me for this. Yeah, I'll wear this one. So I've lost my license 5 or 6 times, but this was all back when I lived in Wagga. I think I lost it 3 or 4 times living in Wagga.
No, bro, I've never lost it, and I've been. I should have, man. I should have heaps. I remember I went to Power Cruise, and I had 20-inch fucking wheels on the front and 14s on the back. And I was in my wagon at Power Cruise. I was sleeping in the car because I was a teenager. And I went down to Mount Jewett shops because my phone got cut off. That's a teenage shit. Not paying my phone bill, being a little scumbag. So I rolled down to Mount Jewett Telstra in this fucking Gilmer-driven VS wagon to pay my $65 phone bill. And then I left, and as you leave the shops and you get out and it's like the highway that goes to Eastern Creek, the lights went green for me, and there was nothing. It was like 4 or 5 lanes, I think, and I just got into it. I went first, second, third, and I was gutter to gutter the whole way up, and I was on good behaviour for doing skids, and this cop car come up out of nowhere and just pulled me over. And I used to drag them too. I love dragging coppers. If they get behind you and they got their lights on, I'm like, if you don't make the noise, I ain't pulling over. And I've dragged cop cars 4 blocks. I'm like, do the raw, and then I'll pull over, and I go, oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. I was just in my own world. Anyway, fucking smart ass I was. He gets out of the car, and he's like, what's going on there? I'm like, oh man, I just seen 5 lanes and couldn't help myself.
Yeah. Had to paint my name on it.
And he's like, oh, because I tell him the truth too. Like, I don't give a fuck. He caught me. Like, and he goes, okay, he takes my license. He's having a look, and he walks back, and he was there for about fucking 10 minutes, like longest 10 minutes of my life. Comes back and he goes, where are you going? So I'm going to Power Cruise, like back to Power Cruise, because that's where I've been. He said, man, you're like good behaviour. I could tow this car. You know, you just he just rattled it off, and I said, honestly, man, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. You do what you got to do. Like, it's up to your discretion, man. And he said, well, I'm actually flat out busy at the moment, and I can't be fucked with this. So if you could just please keep your foot like nice on the floor until you get back in the gates at Eastern Creek, I'd appreciate it. And walked, and I got like 6 stories like that.
Wow.
I never get in trouble. Never get in trouble. I don't understand. Is it 3 lanes? Fuck, felt like 5 when I was fucking teenager.
Yeah, I got a couple of stories later. I remember
3 lanes each way, Phil. See, so like 6 lanes.
6.
Brother. Come on, don't ruin me story, Phil.
Yeah, that's it. It'll take the fun out of it. I remember I was at the I left work one night. I was on my Harley. I lived in Redcliffe with Casey, my wife, and we just had a baby. We just had our first baby. So I was at the pub celebrating with a couple of mates and jumped on my Harley, and I've ridden home. I wasn't pissed by any means, but I would have been over the limit. So not by much, but I would have been over. So I only lived about probably 6 blocks from the pub. So I rode home. As soon as I pulled out of the pub, I hung a left, and then car behind me went, it's got to be the cop. So I kept going, and they put their lights on. So coming into my street, they put the lights on, and I virtually pulled over to the left, and I was staring into my house on the right-hand side. So cops come up behind me. Casey's come, my missus has come up. She's looking through the window. She sees me on the bike, the cops behind, lights and sirens going, and she's just shaking her head. And I'm like, oh, no. So I've hopped off the bike. They've come and they said, where did you come from? And I went, you know where I've come from. You guys were following me. They're like, yeah, pub. When was your last drink? And I went, how long does it take to ride this distance? That was where my last drink was. So they go, give me your license. I'm like, no worries. Here we go. Give him the license. Goes back to the car, and I'm sitting there thinking, out the front of my house, going to get done DUI, in front of my missus and my new kid. This is amazing. What have I done? Next thing, the cop jumps out of the car, throws my license at me, goes, we've got to go. Gets in the car and just takes off flat out. I'm sitting there, license in hand, looking around like, the fuck is going on? You know, I couldn't believe it. So jumped straight on the bike, into the garage, pulled the garage down, and my missus goes, what happened? I went, I have no idea. Wouldn't have a clue what happened. Obviously, something was much more urgent than them booking me that night, and so yeah. Hell
yeah. Oh, saved by another moron. That's great.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah.
I've actually got a story like that.
By the cops in Redcliffe. I had an SP2, VDR 1000 SP2, and I used to wheelie it everywhere. That thing was the best bike to wheelie. And I wheelied the Redcliffe Bridge. And so I was coming back towards, I lived in Margate on Woody Point there. So I wheelie across the bridge, and cop cars, just when he come off the other side of the bridge, set of lights there, they saw me coming, come in behind me, so I'm just flat out. That's it, I'm going home, they're not going to catch me. Got in the driveway, rode around the back of the house, rode the bike in the back garage, ripped my helmet off, threw my jacket, jumped the back fence, walked down to the beach, and then I saw like 6 or 7 cop cars doing laps around the block trying to find me. And I just sat down at the beach just watching this action for about an hour, like cop cars going everywhere, and then I walked back up the house when it was all pointing down. So, yeah, a lot of times you get away with stuff. So, yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, and I had my wagon, and there was like a long street out the back of where my parents lived. It was like a long straight, and it was sort of bush on both sides, and then there was a suburb at the end, and there was only one way in and out, like this one road. But it was a highway that come up past my parents' house. It's like a highway, my parents' house, and you go up along this long road, and you could see the highway from like this suburb. So I'm out doing burnouts up the back there, and I was stopped, and I had the car turned off, and I could hear sirens, which is where they fucked up. I could hear sirens, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can see the highway, and I'm watching. It was a cop car, and it's come off the highway, turned past my parents' house. I'm watching it lighten up the road. And then I'm like, if he goes this way, then I think he's coming for me. And it's turned, it started coming up, and it started coming along the main straight. And the main straight's like 3 kilometres. And I was like, oh yeah, they're coming to get me. And I'm like, how am I going to get away from them? Because there's one way in, one way out. So I ended up just turning the car on. I was like, well, if there's headlights coming towards you, you don't know how fast they're going, right? Big straight. I could see them. I've turned the car on and just pinned it straight at these cops, man. So they must have been coming up the road. They were hammering. So I reckon they were doing, it's 50k zone. They would have been doing double that, 100. And I went back past them, top of third gear, so 190. And I just remember the red and blue lights, headlights coming up me, and I just went boom straight past them. And I just saw all the smoke and shit. They were fucking into it to try and turn around. And by the time I got to the end of the road, I went down and just parked it straight in my driveway. I had enough time to go down, put it in the driveway, close the garage door, and I walked out the front and was just leaning on the fence. This cop car just come out, and it sat there looking at me for 3 or 4 seconds and then just spun the wheels and took off down the rod. I'm like, he got no idea where I've gone, bro. Smashed straight at him. We would have gone past each other 350 Ks plus.
Yep. Holy shit. Oh,
like, I'm hammering. There's nothing there. I'm hammering. I just see the lights and I was like, holy shit, I don't know if she's going to work. Went past him and it's like, and it's like, oh, that was fast,
that's
man.
Cool. Oh,
crazy. I was 19 years old. I think it was a V6 still.
What is it? It's good to know police officers sometimes. Yeah, actually, when I was in Bateman's Bay, I knew a lot of the cops there, and I had a shop called JT Audio back in the day, and we're in an industrial area, and a lot of the high patrol coppers were good mates of mine, and we'd do burnouts up and down the street. We'd always carry on, but we'd keep it out of town. So people would come up to my shop after hours. We'd do skids around there. And this one copper used to, it was really cool. As long as we kept it there, kept it, pretty under control, like no one got too loose. He's like, the worst thing you do is hit a gun and look like a dickhead in front of your friends. So keep it here. I'll let you go, just don't go too mental. And so I got my bike out one night. I had a Firestorm, VDR 1000 Firestorm. So I went down to pop the tyre. So out the front of the shop, massive burnout high at the street, popped the tyre, rode it in with a pop tyre, put it up, pulled the wheel off. Went up and went up to the bike shop, which is virtually just around the corner. Got a new tyre on, come back. The next day, copper comes down that I knew, pulls up the cop car, and he goes, all right, official duties. He goes, I'm here. We've had complaints, and I'm like, yeah, okay. He goes, no, this is serious. He goes, actually, people across the road, it's a little bit early in the afternoon. You've been caught. They've got a video of you. And I'm like, nah, couldn't have been me. And I said, you need evidence for that sort of stuff, don't you? Joking around. And he goes, well, funny you should mention that. Walks back to his car, gets the blown tyre from a bike, walks out, throws the tyre down in front of me. He goes, what do you have to say about this? And I'm like, and he just starts laughing. He goes, oh, fucking gotcha. So he was just taking the piss out of me, and he was the best copper ever. He was so cool.
I honestly think I've probably got 10 really good police chase stories.
Yep.
Or not police chase stories. Let's call them police interactions. And we should definitely do our next live.
We should do a police special.
Yeah, I think so. I reckon next week we're doing a police special.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to write down all of my stories, and we're just going to bang one after the other.
Yeah, definitely, man. I got to say.
Next Friday's the police special, and no names, no plates.
No, that's it. Hang on. When did I leave Wagga? I left Wagga probably 2 years before my son was born. So what would that be? 2000? Something like that? It would have been around 2000, I believe. I'll have to think about that one. I was there for a while. I used to live in Henty. I don't know if anyone on here, people from that area, know where that was, which is right in between Albury, Wodonga, and Wagga. So I lived there, and then I met a girl. We used to go cruising in Wagga all the time, up and down the streets and hanging out and having a good time. And I met a chick there, and I ended up moving to Wagga, and we lived there, and then we left there and we moved to Bateman's Bay together. And unfortunately, we split up, and so now
maybe fortunately,
fortunately for her, I'm not much of a catch, that's for sure. I'm a bit of a loose unit, so yeah.
Well, speaking of loose units, I've got to get back inside to my wife. I think it's getting late.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
And you're still at work, so you need to.
Yeah, I'm still at the shop, man. Actually, no. Well, I've got.
Have you looked at the time?
100% totally done. I put the I put the GDS steering wheel on it, and I was going to fit a stereo to it just to fill the hole in the dash. And when
the
I put
Simmons of the steering car world.
Yeah. So it didn't look any good having that stereo in there. So I made a little alloy plate and put a heap of switches in there, and two of the switches do nothing, but it looks.
They look good. Yeah.
Yeah, they end up looking really well. Like so, I'm stoked with it. I'll do a TikTok and I'll chuck up and show everyone and see what they think of it. So yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed the car ones never go anywhere with me when I do car TikToks.
Yeah.
I put an old memory. Oh, not a memory. One that I did like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Up of Jasmine driving the car and just went nowhere. And I was like, people don't want to see that. They just, for some reason, want to see me talk shit. So
yeah. It's weird. Do you find posting at different hours?
I reckon 6 p.m.'s the best time.
Yep. Yeah.
But,
I was going to say, I've done some videos. I'm like, man, that's going to go nowhere. And I'm like, next morning, I'm like, oh, I got 5,000 views. I'm like, fucking what? It was a shit video. And it must be the time that you post them. So,
yeah, there's all kinds of tactics, I guess, if you want to fucking chase clout and numbers or whatever you want to do.
I just post videos because I've got them in my phone. I'm like, oh, I'll post this and see what happens. So, yeah.
I just find Chinese girls singing and then I dance to broken LDVs and it fucking goes alright.
or you pull steering wheels off cars and take videos of those. So,
yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna get out of here because it's getting late. But
yeah. I'm gonna get home.
Don't forget to tune in next Friday night for the police interaction.
The police special. Yeah. Honestly, no number plates. No
number plates, no nothing, no names.
No face, no case. All right, that's how it goes.
No, that's it. I've got there's some naughty coppers out there too that would like to, that I'm going to tell some stories about. So it'll be good.
Yeah. I know there's a couple of coppers out there that would love to bloody nail me. That's for sure. In a professional manner.
Yeah, not a.
Oh no, there might be a few female coppers out there that wanted to nail me back in the day. I don't know.
Maybe.
What do you say?
Hey, look, I've got a story about nailing a copper, but we're not going to talk about that.
I've got stories about nailing people on cop cars. So that was another.
Actually, I've got stories about. Dude, I'm going to have to write them down this week. I reckon now I'm thinking about it, probably more like 20.
Yeah, I'm going to have to sit there and think like, I've got crazy stories.
What's his name? Actually, Kirk, the copper that I was just talking about, So, and anyway, that's as far as we're going with that.
That's no names. Definitely.
No names. All right, I'm going.
I'm out of it too, guys. No,
see you next Friday night.
Remember, next Friday night, we'll jump on Fridays and we'll just keep talking shit. So if you guys are enjoying it, come back and hang out with us. It's great.
Yeah, the police special next Friday. It's on.